Welcome to the Young Turks on a big day. What is this? Cenk, Uygur, and Kasparian, not a big deal, just Super Tuesday.
It's a super big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge day.
Yeah, look, this day is as big as it gets. The only day that'll be bigger is the November election. So it might be over today. It might not. Okay, that's why, oh my God. I mean, if you haven't seen the latest polls, Biden's closing on Bernie. Okay. So he is within 7 in California and is retaking the lead in Texas.
I want to remain in a good mood because this might be the last day that I feel any bit of happiness for the rest of this election cycle. So let's just wait. Let's just wait. Let's not panic.
I'm gonna vote for panic.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm kidding. Look, we got an hour of news here, and I gotta tell you something really important right now. But before we do that, I just, again, the coverage starts at 7 o'clock Eastern because that's when the polls start closing. Obviously, we've got a ton of states across the country.
8 p.m. Eastern, our election coverage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we are doing Super Tuesday coverage, obviously.
All right, I just know that Mayor Bill de Blasio is joining us next hour, and that's part of the coverage as well. Okay, anyways, so Texas, California, so many others. But first, let me tell you guys something that we're launching now that's really, really important. So we've been around 18 years, and we made it, at least adulthood for now. And from time to time, we ask you guys for a little bit of help to stay in business, honestly. And so there's a couple of things that we promise you guys in return. One is to constantly put out the progressive message there. I was talking to a reporter recently, and he was tracking how Bernie Sanders rose online. He's like, how did it happen? Well, honestly, we were a decent sized part of that. And I had a fan come up to me recently and say, you know, something weird about the algorithm back in 2015, whenever I searched Bernie Sanders, only your videos would come up. Brother, that one wasn't the algorithm. We were the only ones doing videos about Bernie Sanders, let alone positive videos. And I mean the whole TYT network. And so, and the mainstream media obviously was not. So we've been putting out that progressive message for 18 years now, and we've done it with your help through membership and every once in a while fundraising drives like we're about to do, okay? tyt.com/go. So I'm gonna explain the details of that in a second. But the second promise we give you guys is to help progressives actually get wonderful candidates. As Ryan Grimm reported in his book, we've got people. The Young Turks audience raised $2.5 million for Just Democrats. And no one thought it was possible, and look at that. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, let alone the 3 incumbents, Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, and Raul Grijalva. Look, did we do that all by ourselves? Of course not. Did you even do that all by yourselves? Of course not. They ran amazing campaigns. There was other wonderful groups involved, and of course the candidates themselves. But you helped make that happen. We asked you to deliver something. You helped us to do that. Progressive message plus progressive candidates. And the third part of it is change. At the end of the day, what we're all trying to do is get to positive change. If we don't pass the bills, we haven't done it. Now, one of the things I want to do is empower you guys to be able to be those change agents. So we're working on that internally right now. That will launch later this year. But in order to make that happen, all of these things, keep the progressive message on air, help progressive candidates, and most importantly, empower you to make the change. All that's coming this year, but we need your help. So we're trying to raise $200,000 a month for the rest of the year to get to $2 million drive. So if you say, well, Cenk, you do this every once in a while, it's true. We do it every 3 or 4 years, okay? New York Times recently wrote a story about Prager University, and they said, you know, all this laudatory things, oh my God, it's so amazing, it spreads the conservative message on college campuses, et cetera. And in the middle, just one little quick paragraph, it might even been a sentence, oh, by the way, they're funded by 2 right-wing billionaires who give them $23 million a year for free. It's not an investment. We had an investment. Investment's totally different, right? That's used to run your business, grow your business. This is here every year, $20 to $25 million check for free. You do anything you want with it. You don't have to make money. You don't have to do anything else. They have no economic pressure at all. We have infinite economic pressure. So every once in a while, we need you guys, and this is one of those times. So we're gonna try to do one step at a time here. We're asking you to go to tyt.com/go. Every once in a while, we'll show you the thermometer to see how it's going. I'd love to raise 200 a month through the end of the year so we can get 2 million so we make things happen. Look, guys, I'm gonna keep it super real with you guys. I don't know if you know this, but Francis Maxwell, Hassan Piker, Brooke Thomas, they're some of our best hosts ever, and they're not here. Ken Klippenstein, we loved him as a reporter. You guys helped us hire him. Somebody outbid us for him. They did a great job, and I'm super glad they got him. And he's doing great work at the Nation. But we don't have enough money, and so it's not fake. It's super cold, hard reality. And so we're doing our best here to try to make things happen. I hope you can participate with us so that we can do this all throughout the election year. Man, this is such an important election year. It doesn't get any bigger than this. We're calling it Endgame, right? Because it is either progressives win and we get everything. We get, not everything, but you get a progressive president, hopefully get a House and Senate that's progressive. Oh my God, we're in position to pass the bills and change people's lives. A story I tell all the time, now backed up by a study that came out from Yale University professors at Lancet that published it, saying, yes, Medicare for All, in fact, saves 68,000 lives a year. Guys, 68,000 people, picture it, that's a stadium. That's a stadium full of people. And either they're gonna live or they're gonna die. It's not exaggeration, it's not hyperbole. If we don't pass bills and we don't get you change, people actually die. They die in wars, they die because they don't have health care, they die because of climate change. We're all on a rescue mission together, and we absolutely positively need your help. We don't do it every year, and we don't ask you unless we need it, unless it's absolutely real. So tyt.com/go, please make that possible for us in this super important election year. All right.
I think we have a fun video to share with you guys.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding me of that. So a little bit of the history of the Young Turks and the kind of change we're trying to do, and this year, right?
Yes, and I just want to note that after the video, we're going to go to a quick break, but this will kind of give you a sense of who we are, what we stand for, and we're hoping that you'll support us and keep us sustainable. The Supreme Court has ruled that Donald Trump can use military funds to build his border wall.
Source that I saw in their
I believe that. To acquit Donald Trump.
2020 is Endgame. Everything. If progressives win, we're done apologizing. They should apologize to us for all that they have done to us 1,000 times over.
Well, sad day for you. It is the end. And in 2020, we're going to clean your clock.
A major poll indicates that both Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are now leading in the Democratic primary.
Here comes Warren. There goes Biden.
Over the past few days, not only has Bernie Sanders gotten a number of high-profile endorsements in some of the early states, he's been doing very well in the early state polls as well.
There's all these establishment candidates that have gotten a lot of airtime that their polling did not merit.
Bernie Sanders is one of the front runners, and that's not an accident.
And if there's gonna be all this media attention on Buttigieg, which there has been, like, yes, we got it, Norwegian, piano, all of that. What about what you did?
For some reason, the media treats him with kid gloves. They're so against going after him on very significant policy issues.
It is increasingly difficult for the American public to get any sort of truth. The majority of America might turn on the evening news for a little while and just unfortunately don't get informed.
Logic is irrelevant, facts are irrelevant. The only thing they got is fear and hatred.
Things are different this time around.
They always work from a point of fear and trying to second guess potential pushback from Republicans. It's a position of fear and lack of control.
There's some chance that Bernie's gonna have an uprising like no one's seen before. And it's gonna absolutely shock the establishment.
They all say, we need someone who can beat Donald Trump. You know what they never do after that? Pull out the head-to-head polls with Donald Trump and show that they're the one to do it.
You have these wine cellar meetings and you have these big money donors, and that doesn't necessarily guarantee you much.
So you could try to move mountains and you could do anything you like a month before the election, and it's gonna have a minimal effect.
And gave the Congress the ability to control this president. I got them.
Certainly resonates with people of all political ideologies because we're all in the same boat together. We're dealing with the same frustrations, the same difficulties in providing for our families.
Winning is everything. everything.
Yes.
And he could win Super Tuesday, he could win California. Right now, he's in the lead. We hope you're enjoying this free clip from the Young Turks. If you want to get the whole show and more exclusive content while supporting independent media, become a member at tyt.com/join today. In the meantime, enjoy this free segment. All right, back on the Young Turks in 45 minutes. Polls close in Alabama, Vermont, who's going to win it? I'm on pins and needles, and Virginia. Oof. For Virginia. Virginia is going to be a huge, huge state tonight. All right, let me read your comments. Nipple Pierce Jenkins Skinny Jeans writes in, happy Super Tuesday, TYT friends. It's time for Bernie to kill it. Indeed, we'll talk a lot more about that in a little bit. Hillary Clinton's attacking him, we'll talk about that. Tamara says, Cenk, welcome back, brother. Love you and Anna on the show together. Me too, thank you. A bucket of squirrels is ammo against logic, says, I first got to watching TYT on my birthday in 2015. I think it was John and Ben talking about Bernie saying he's running. The amount of insight into stories has no comparison. Thank you for that. I want to thank you and a lot of folks when I meet them on the road, say something similar, which I feel really, really gratified about. They say, look, I love the passion, etc. But really, I come because you guys give more details to the stories and more facts than everyone else combined. So it's gratifying to hear that. Gabby Marita says, I'm keeping the faith. TYT saw the rise and permanence of AOC before anyone else even considered her a serious candidate. It's the same with Bernie. We don't need to win every race and every state to come out victorious in the end. Thank you, Gabby, we appreciate that. I mean, whatever you say about our contribution to AOC, we certainly saw her coming before anyone else did. There's no question about that. Spinner Man says, donated $127. I support my mother and have 2 daughters in college. In a Bernie world, I could do better. In any case, thank you. No, thank you, brother. So we're doing that, the drive, tyt.com/go. Please, if you can, we're trying to raise money to keep things afloat here. YouTube super chat, Rose Arate says, just donate not because I can, but because I believe. Joseph Garcia says, love TYT, all in YouTube super chat. Last one, Eclectic Miss Chelani on Twitter says, if every one of us donated just $1 every time Cenk made a dad joke, TYT would have more money than MSNBC in no time.
Or every time I roll my eyes at Cenk during the main show.
Okay, deal, I accept. Okay, go forward. In fact, tyt.com/go.
Yeah.
Forward. Is that $1? Is that $1? It's kind of a dad joke. Go for it. All right, keep going.
Yeah. All right.
How about me rolling my eyes at myself?
We got stories to do.
Okay, we got stories.
Yeah. All right. Sometimes Jesse Waters says things that are so incredibly stupid that his own co-hosts on Fox News can't help but roll their eyes at him. And that calls for one of my favorite branded segments, Dumb Fox.
I define peace as the ability to defend yourself and blow your enemies into smithereens. I'm from San Diego, man. Those are my tacos.
The Swedes have pure genes. Finns marry other Finns, so they have a pure society.
Shut up and dribble.
This time, the topic of discussion was on the 5, and they were discussing the coronavirus. And Jesse Waters has some strong feelings about the Chinese. He feels that the Chinese government owes America a giant apology. He explains why in this next clip.
I'd like to just ask the Chinese for a formal apology. This coronavirus originated in China, and I have not heard one word from the Chinese. A simple "I'm sorry" would do. It would go a long way. I expect a formal apology tomorrow. Doesn't matter if it comes from Xi or the embassy, and I think all of my colleagues around this table will join arm in arm with me, also demanding a formal apology from the Chinese people. It didn't start here, Dana, and I'll tell you why it started in China. Okay. Because they have these markets where they're eating raw bats and snakes.
No, Jesse.
They are a very hungry people. The Chinese communist government cannot feed the people. And they are desperate. This food is uncooked, it's unsafe, and that is why scientists believe that's where it originated from.
So he gets paid to be that stupid, and it's unbelievable to me, but it's Fox, so that's what you can expect. Let me give you the actual details of the coronavirus, and let me also note that there are parts to this story, parts to this virus that are, misreported constantly. So it's not just Fox News. I see all sorts of propaganda out there. And of course, it leads to hatred towards certain groups of people. In this case, the Chinese and people coming from Asia. It leads to unnecessary fear. But here are the facts that we do know. Coronavirus did likely originate from bats, but rumors that Chinese people infected themselves with tainted bat soup are broadly doubted by experts. It's unclear exactly how the first transmission occurred because the wet market, where it is thought to have originated, has been disinfected by the authorities. However, the vast majority of these cases have been confirmed to be person-to-person contact. As news of the Wuhan virus spread online, one video became emblematic of its claimed origin. It showed a young Chinese woman supposedly in Wuhan biting into a virtually whole bat as she held the creature up with chopsticks. So I'm gonna show you a quick still of that video. And so people saw that and they thought, oh, this is where it originated from. She's a Chinese woman, she ate a bat, and that's how the virus was transmitted from the bat to a human. Except this is a photo that was taken by a travel show host back in 2016, and it wasn't even in China.
Oops.
Yeah. So look, I get it. People are gonna panic. People are gonna say crazy things. They're gonna freak out. I think the media likes to sensationalize stuff like this a little bit. I'm not trying to minimize the coronavirus. It's something that should be taken seriously. But at the same time, the way that it's been like exploited for these sensationalistic stories is just gross. And the way that it's being used by bad faith actors at Fox, for instance, just to stir up hatred toward the Chinese is also incredibly gross.
Yeah, look, I know people want to joke around on air, and I get it. We've joked around on air, and it's fine. But look at the manner in which it's being done. So I want you to think about it, because if you're in the same ethnic group as them, you might not even recognize it's not your fault, because we all live our different perspectives and etc. But he's blaming Chinese people, and everybody's laughing like, oh, that's funny. Because none of them are Chinese, and they think it's funny to say Chinese people eat bats as snakes, and that's why they unleashed a plague on the world.
Because in America, we don't eat anything gross and questionable.
But like, so what's the funny part? So is it funny because, haha, the Chinese are weird? So is he joking or is he not joking? Because is he saying that it's not really, like it would be a joke if it's not really the Chinese people's fault, and there's Chinese people on the panel and they're kidding around and it's kind of a family atmosphere. That's okay, I get it, right? Mm-hmm. But where's the joke? I think he does mean it. I don't think he's joking.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're laughing because they're uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I think his co-hosts are laughing because they're uncomfortable. I think that's clear.
But where's the punchline? Where's the punchline? So is the punchline Chinese people are gross? Is that the punchline? So look, guys, my kids are Chinese. My wife's Chinese, so obviously my kids are half Turkish, half Chinese. And I don't know, are they gonna go to school now and people are gonna say, do you guys eat bats and snakes? Did you guys cause the coronavirus? Is it your fault? Are you gross? They don't care about that. To them, the Chinese are the others. It never occurs to them that Chinese are also Americans. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, we have a lot of Chinese Americans in this country. And for guys like Jesse Waters, and he did a segment about Chinatown where he said awfully racist things a little while back. It actually made Ronnie Chang's career, the comedian who then fought him back on The Daily Show, etc., and is a wonderful comic now. But Jesse Waters has a history of thinking it's really funny to make racist jokes about Chinese people with no punchlines at all.
I know, I mean, but that's just who he is. And to be honest with you, I'm not even interested in like judging him as like this immoral, racist, xenophobic, whatever person. Like that's just who he is. And I know what we're dealing with him, right? But the problem is he spreads this type of misinformation that, first of all, leads to people being misinformed and not really knowing how to deal with the coronavirus or how to prepare for the coronavirus. I mean, he's talking about, the Chinese government, maybe even the Chinese embassy, they owe us an apology. I don't know, I spoke to your ex-wife. She thinks you owe her an apology for cheating on her with one of your producers. and leaving her for that. How about that? I'd like to see that apology, you
By the way,
scumbag.
Okay, so when Anna says that, I swear to God, everyone who's on TV and the elites will be so mad at her.
Good, be mad, don't care.
Okay, and they'll think, well, Jesse Waters is just making a racist joke, that's benign. You insulted someone inside the club, Jesse Waters, so that's unacceptable. And you did it in a personal way, whereas he's just smearing billions of people, and that's fine. And now everybody thinks they're savages, and that's in the club, that's totally acceptable. But talking about your personal failings, if somebody else in the club, not acceptable.
I just really care about family values, Cenk.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Do you guys care about family values? All the people who are clutching their pearls at what I just said about Jesse Waters being a scumbag?
And so look, I'm an American. We, unfortunately, it was our country that started the Iraq War. Jesse, did we ever? Now, I was dead set against the Iraq War. Young Turks was one of the very, very few shows nationally on air at the time. In fact, only one of 2 shows who was opposed to the Iraq War. We were right, you were wrong. Did you ever apologize for hundreds of thousands of dead Iraqi civilians, you monster? Did you ever apologize for the $6 trillion we spent on Iraq and Afghanistan? Did you apologize for the over 5,000 troops we lost in Iraq and Afghanistan wars? Did you, and actually just Iraq alone, over 50,000 wounded, missing legs. Fox News helped start that war. So did you ever, the Chinese should apologize? No, wait a minute. A disease came out of a certain area in the world. We actively made a choice to bomb the living hell out of a country and murder hundreds of thousands of civilians. Did we ever apologize for that? So please spare me your nonsense, racism disguised as humor.
Right.
We're not entertained.
All right, well, let's move on to some other news. There is some good news, but there's a caveat to it, so let's talk about it. After more than 240 days, Australia is finally free of the bushfires that it was suffering from, and of course they were exacerbated by climate change. Now, the epicenter of this was New South Wales, and it took hundreds of days for firefighters to put out all the bushfires. And it was reported by the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. Let me give you what their statement was. For the first time since, early July 2019, there is currently no active bush or grass fires in New South Wales. That's more than 240 days of fire activity for the state. Now, just to give you a sense of how much climate change really exacerbated the situation, there were fires in every Australian state, but New South Wales was hardest hit with smoke so bad in Sydney in December that air quality measured 11 times the hazardous level.
So, former TYT employee Eric Byler was stuck in one of these fires. His family went on vacation. They were cornered by 3 different fires, and they couldn't get out. And they then started thinking about pulling in ships onto shore to rescue the family stuck there. They eventually made it out when one of the fires went down for a little bit, and then they made it out to safety, and then the fire began again raging. And I read his story, and I read parts of it on air, and it was harrowing. And we're burning ourselves to death. I mean, Antarctica a couple of weeks ago was hotter than Death Valley.
I know. Yeah.
Climate change is not theoretical, it's not later. 99% of the world's scientists are not lying. If you think that, I don't know how many times I could say you're insane and stupid, because you are. It's not a political difference of opinion. It's like saying, well, I think 2 + 2 = 5, and that's because I'm a Republican, and it's offensive for you to tell me it's not 5. It isn't 5, it's 4. And climate change is real. 99% of the world's scientists aren't lying, you morons.
So I think part of the problem is how we just trust that they don't believe that climate change is real. And I think that we need to stop doing that, because they know what the truth is, right? The Prime Minister of Australia knows what the truth is, but the reason why he refuses to do anything about climate change or to take it seriously is because their economy depends on the coal industry. And it's the same issue that we have with the fossil fuel industry here in the United States. He knows what the reality is. You think that he hasn't read the reports? You think that he hasn't been confronted with the truth over and over and over again? No, his financial well-being depends on him pretending like he doesn't know what the truth is.
Yeah, I want to be clear. The Republican politicians are almost always worse than the Republican voters. And here, it's a Hobson's choice, but Republican politicians are doing it on purpose. Whether it's Australia or here, they take loads and loads of money from Exxon and oil and gas companies, et cetera. And then they have gross Democrats like John Hickenlooper drinking fracking fluid as a form of submission to corporate America, okay? And then they have all the Republicans on their side, of course, lying ad nauseum. You think they don't know? They know they're lying on purpose, right? But their voters, because of their politicians, because of Fox News and the right-wing blogs, their voters got duped, and they really think all the scientists in the world are lying. They think, oh, well, the weather goes up, the weather goes down, man. It snowed the other day. Fox News told me it snowed. It's okay, it's okay. You got duped because you're a dupe, okay? Read a science book.
Yeah.
Read anything related to science. For God's sake, do a Google search outside of Fox News and the right-wing blogosphere. Just look at any fact at all. Pick any country in the world and pick their top scientists, and they agree with us.
Well, I have good news for you because the impact of climate change is so undeniable, and people are now experiencing it firsthand, so they can't help but come to terms with the truth, right? So even though there's all this misinformation, even though these politicians lie over and over again, right-wing media lies over and over again, there are conservatives who actually do enjoy nature. They enjoy the healthy environment they once lived in, right? And so I remember being in Alaska, and there's a glacier called the Mendenhall Glacier, which has like melted considerably. It used to be this giant glacier that's like receding. And so while I was in this group, there was like this little conservative couple. And I say little because they were like this cute old couple. And the man was like, I know that this is an inappropriate thing to bring up because it's political, but I mean, I keep hearing that climate change isn't real, but I mean, we see it right in front of us right now, right? And he's
yes,
yeah.
Yes, you do.
They can't deny it. They can't deny it because it's right in front of them. And if they're not seeing it through glaciers and things like that, they're experiencing it firsthand from extreme weather conditions that have destroyed their homes, fires that have burnt down their entire neighborhoods, killed their pets. I mean, people are seeing it. And so unfortunately, I think that if we don't act now, it's gonna be too late. So we're coming to terms with this way too late. We need to act today.
By the way, there's an election right this year. If Trump wins, that's another 4 years gone. Another 4 years where we won't do anything. He's like, oh, I'm proud that we do a lot of oil and gas. We keep drilling, baby. Oh yeah, we're so good at drilling. We're drilling the planet into oblivion. We're gonna release the Balrog. We're in the middle of doing it right now. And Fox News is poisoning the world. And you've got conservatives whose houses are on fire going, no, Fox News told me it's not on fire, so don't worry about it. No, you should worry about it. I got news for you. Fox News doesn't know better than all the scientists in the world. And if you think that, boy, wow, I feel so sad for you because that's really pathetic.
500 million animals in Australia were impacted by these fires. In New South Wales alone, 500 million animals.
Impacted as in most of them burned to death.
Yes, exactly. So there are real consequences to our inaction and refusal to accept climate change for what it is. And people are losing their lives, their livelihoods, their pets, everything as a result of that. We got to take a break. When we come back, we have some fun stories, including Bloomberg being called out as a racist by a Trump supporter, and also latex vixens. What are they? Why are they in the news? I'll tell you when we come back.